Okay, now that we have the tire imported, we can actually hide this, and let's create another geometry container. And on this one, we're going to be calling it burnout sim. We're going to be doing everything else here. Let's dive inside and let's create an object merge to grab our rotating elements. So here on the object, let's select from tire import, out rotating, accept, and here we have again our rotating tire. Now the next thing we want to do, and I mentioned this a bunch of times on the previous lessons, one of the most important elements when you're working with pyro simulation is going to be the source. This case is no exception. So the first thing we're going to be doing is thinking a bit about what's going to happen. So what's happening is that while the tire is rotating, the friction between the rubber and the tarmac is going to generate heat, and that heat is going to cause some particles of the rubber to overheat, to burn out, and generate smoke. Of course, we have to consider the contact area, which is going to be the area where we have the friction that generates the heat. And we also need to consider the fact that the wheel is spinning really fast. And that also generates another type of phenomenon, which is going to be a cooling effect by the friction of the rubber with the air surrounding the tire. Okay, so we have to consider those things. We have something that's causing the rubber to heat, and something that's causing the rubber to cool down while it rotates. So whenever it's in contact with the tarmac, it's heating a lot, and then it's going to cool down while it's not in contact with the tarmac. The areas that are going to be emitting the most of the smoke are the areas of the rubber that are very hot. So we're going to be generating most of the heat on this area, but the wheel is going to continue to rotate, and that area is going to start to cool down. But while it cools down, it can still emit some smoke while it's cooling down. Okay, eventually it stops emitting smoke because the wheel slows down to halts to a stop, and the rubber just cools down enough so it doesn't emit any more smoke. So that's pretty much a description of what's happening and what we're going to be considering.